Now, this is the stuff everyone has actually been waiting for. As the title of the video already announced and shows, we've got ourselves a match between none other than two pro players who have put a lot of time and effort into becoming the best of the best on fastest map as well. We've got Brain, who had made some waves in the ASL Season 9 by beating Light and Mind and Sulky, but sadly falling out of the race in the round of 16. But nonetheless, he beat a lot of top level pros, and he's here playing the Red Zerg. Brain is known to many as probably the #1 fastest map player in the world. And he is up against someone who has at this point become a top 5 fastest map player in the world, and is considered to be one of the top pro Terrans on the regular maps. It's none other than Mong playing the blue Terran. He's actually playing his main race on the fastest map in what is arguably also his best matchup, Terran versus Zerg. Actually, he's really good in pretty much every single matchup. He's really good in Terran versus Terran, Terran versus Protoss, and Terran versus Zerg amongst the pro players on the regular maps. But this is fastest map. Let's see how this one is going to pan out. This should be one of the best matches I've ever casted. At least I hope so. Because just imagine the concept. Two pro players who have proven their worth, who have also put a lot of time, as I've already said, a lot of time into becoming really, really good at fastest map, and pretty much dedicate all their time to fastest map now, because as of recently, Mong has become a fastest map streamer and player exclusively, because it ties in better with his military service. His military service would disallow him from really participating in any tournaments, so he thought I might as well just go and dedicate myself to a map I actually find more enjoyable, which is the fastest map. So that aside though, Mong starts off with 2 barracks into an academy with an early gas, scouts the map, did a cross-map scout, and found Brain quite early. Brain going for an all omnidirectional scout. Hasn't found Mong yet, but he knows that it's a Terran versus Zerg, because they both pick their races. Starts up with a choke, of course, early gas, second hatchery there coming in as well. 2 Zerglings meant to scout or meant to kill that SCV. His drone also scouting over the entire map. He hasn't made a second sunken yet, because he doesn't feel he needs to yet. Oh, he hasn't found Mong actually. He actually pulled back a little bit too early, expecting to find Marines here, but they were there. So he saw this point, but not this point. That might actually be a mistake there from Brain. Although, on the other hand, though, he kind of knows what is coming. He kind of knows. But he might be wrong, because this is a very, very early factory coming out here for Mong, way earlier than you would usually see it, because Mong only went for 2 barracks instead of 3. When you go for 3 barracks, the gas is a little bit later. If you go for 2 barracks, the gas is a little bit earlier. And in this case, the gas is earlier, which means the factory is earlier as well. And he goes straight up for a Terran starport, which leads me to believe he's either going for a very early vessel, but more likely to be going for a dropship. Going for a drop here on Brain. Brain has his ladder finishing up. So Zergling speed on the way. That's a very, very interesting switch up. Going for Zergling speed, going for a Spire there as well. Haven't really ever seen anyone go for Zergling speed after the lair finishes and a Spire, at least not on fastest map. On regular maps, this is probably a little bit more common, but on fastest map, it is very uncommon. But I do expect him to be going for a Mutalisk Zergling combination. Also, that combination should make it a bit easier to fight off a dropship in the case a dropship is on the way. But no control tower yet, goes straight into the science facility. Mong is trying to touch and feel whether he can go or not. He sees he can't go, so he's just keeping those Marines there in the front to get himself information whether anything is leaving Brain's base or not. Going for a Queen's Nest there as well, mining from 3 gas. 24 drones against 25 SCVs. Mong did not go for a +1 command center. He's got an engineering bay coming on the way now as well. Third barracks there as well. Dropship is now on the way as expected. Tank is rolling in to the scene. Starts to siege up, and they will start being a threat to those Sunkens there. So yeah, it actually looks like Brain is not going for more Zerglings. He's just sticking to the Zerglings he already has. Maybe he's going for more Zerglings in the near future. But he's got those 7 Mutas on the way, so I'm expecting some sweet Muta Micro to prevent this from taking down this front and prevent this from stimming down those Sunkens. Mutalisks very close to spawning. I'm gonna zoom in on these Mutalisks because it's always nice to see them getting microed. There they go, stacking up. At the moment there's about 7 of them right there, stacked up, going in for the fight. Bam, he goes in, and he starts peeling away on the sides of those Marines. He has the hill advantage though, so he doesn't really take all that much damage, but now there's a dropship there which does provide vision on the hills. So you can see right here, so now those Marines being pretty much in a line, in a box, in a ball, or if you want to call it, makes it hard for the Mutalisks to really micro into the Marines, because he's being very smart there and cutting off the supply line instead of going for the Marines already there. But well, a couple Marines being loaded into the base, but Brain doesn't really have a problem shutting it down. He already has so many Mutalisks. Right here, I missed a couple of Mutalisks going for the attack on those Marines, kills a couple of those Marines. Now the Marines there also going down. He actually lost a lot of Mutalisks there because he didn't have the right number to one-shot Marines, so the medics kept healing the Marine that kept stimming, and he actually loses a lot of Mutalisks there. The micro is good, but Mong just knows how to play against Mutalisks. He has a lot of practice against it from the regular maps. A lot of practice. He knows how to ball them up in a specific way, where if the Mutalisk tries to go in, it gets hit by at least 4. And he has Marine range there as well. Level 1 weapon upgrade for Marines also on the way. Mong just cancelled his Radiate, or did it finish up? Not too sure. I did see the Radiate upgrade, but it wasn't finished yet. But all of a sudden it disappeared. So Great Aspire is now on the way, and a Defiler Mount as well. Brain clears out this little portion there in the front, and his siege tank actually didn't make all that much mileage, but considering it was only a single siege tank, he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Sunkens killed. Brain had to place new Sunkens there to prevent Mong from going in. So Great Aspire almost finished, the Defiler Mount is on the way, Hazard number 3 on the way as well, and I think he did finish his Lurker aspect. Maybe he's going to finish the Lurker aspect a little bit later, because at the moment he's been spending all of his minerals on those Mutalisks. He scans the side here, sees there's nothing on the side, just to be sure that there's no turrets being built there. Because a lot of players like to go for somewhat of a contained strategy, where they build turrets all around the Zerg's base. But Mong, having gone for a very late +2 command center, his economy is not yet where it could be. Though he's been spending really well. He's been spending amazingly well, and he's going for a very heavy Marine build. Level 1 Marine weapon has finished. Level 2 is on the way. He's got no armory anywhere yet, so he isn't planning on going for Goliaths soon. More vessels on the way, still only on a single factory capable of making tanks. There he goes. Vessel gets a great radiate on those Mutalisks. Mutalisks are gonna have to split up, but he fails to split them up. Actually, one of the last Mutalisks is the one that was radiated. So he's gonna take he took a lot of damage on his Mutalisks, so now he's gonna have to turn them into Guardians. And Guardians, once they are finished morphing, have full HP. Also pretty good spread on those Guardians, so they don't all go down to the radiates instantly. Goes in with, oh, that's a very smart move there. Using the Marine that gets target fired with a defensive matrix to make sure you can take down all the Sunkens that are in the front. Now he goes in from the bottom side because there's an opening, but there's a lot of Zerglings are spawning. He's got Lurkers on the way, Swarm on the way as well. So if he gets some Swarm off on those Marines, he can push them back or keep them away. Radiate comes down on the Lurker. Lurker also goes down with all the Guardians coming in from the side. Devour that in the mix as well to take care of those vessels very slowly. Guardians going in. One of the Guardians gets radiated. Now Zerglings streaming in from behind as well. But Marines are in the front abusing the Dark Swarm to take down the hatchery there in the front. Now the Zerglings are cleaning them out. The tank has been cleared out here in the corner. Guardians coming in as well. And it looks like Brain manages to fight this off for now. But it did cost him some supply, because now he's on a supply surplus, meaning he is supply stuck. 28 drones at the moment, 55 for Mong. Mong is very slowly adding on to his base. And still no armories. No armories yet. So no tank upgrades coming yet. Vessels running away from the... He doesn't manage to save it. It was very close. He stimmed in, but didn't get it. Would have been really sweet if he got it. But sometimes close is not enough. So yeah, so Vessel's gonna move in for a radiate on those drones. Hopefully Brain spots it. Hopefully Brain has already gotten his burrow upgrade. And I'm gonna go for a sip of water to prepare myself for the rest of the game. So yeah, he spots both vessels, but really smart matrix there. So yeah, there comes the radiate. He does have burrow, so that means the drones are going down. And yeah, single one goes down. He has to wait for the defensive matrix to end before those scorches can actually kill the vessel. Or he might just make more scorches so that they can take it down regardless. Yeah, Brain, 31 drones now, 66 per SCVs for Mong. As Vessel is hanging there in the top corner. Very annoying, very annoying. Goes out on the hunt, kills a couple of Marines. The fighter is trailing in the back. He's not really planning on going all out with this one, but Mong really quickly shuts it down and forces Brain to use the swarm and burrow the lurker under the swarm. Zerglings are walking straight into firebats. Firebats, Marines, and tanks, and vessels coming out from Mong, which is really more akin to regular map Terran than fastest map Terran, or at least as we usually see it, because usually we get a lot more tanks, a lot less Marines and firebats, but Mong can pull this off, I'm sure. He can do it, I'm sure. More vessels on the way, tanks now also on the way, because more machine stuff has been added on. Brain is pushing Mong away from entering his base with those lurkers under the swarm. Scourges hunting for vessels, but not yet finding vessels yet. But he's putting them here on the side very smartly, just in case those vessels start moving out and he can surround them from both sides. 3 sides actually. That's a really smart setup there from Brain, setting himself up for future success. Very annoying Guardian there, trying to at least abuse Mong a little bit there on the side. So the game is at the moment in somewhat of a stalemate. The lurkers under the swarm, untargetable by the Marines, and the firebats, even if they do go in, probably will go down before they reach the lurkers themselves. And that is also always those Zerglings to keep them away. Mong moving into the middle of the map, believing he's got enough units to go for the offense. But Brain pretty smartly shuts it down for now, with another lurker swarm here in the front, the fighter also under the swarm, a lot of vessels moving into the top side of the map, and they're probably going straight for... I wanted to say straight for the drones. Yeah, they're going straight for the drones, there they go. Brain is at the same time moving out into the middle of the map, getting some lurkers under the dark swarm in between those tanks. Firebats going in from us around, but the firebats actually might be going down first. Now here comes the vessels, radiating the drones, but the drones are burrowing themselves really quick, but he does end up killing about 6 drones in the process. Really good hit there from Mong. Also causes Brain to stop mining for a little while. Brain has become a little bit bigger in the process of this entire thing. Has not added on all that many drones because he's been continuously getting harassed by those vessels. Do note we're only 13 minutes into the game, but this game already feels like it's 20 minutes long. That's how much is happening. A lot of small little details. So yeah, Mong now on 9 factories, adding on 2 more for 11. These are going to be factories mostly intended for vultures. These are going to be used for tanks, and this is of course for the vessels. 2 armories also finished up. He's got level 0 upgrades on those vessels. His Marines are on 0-2, only using a single engineering bay to get upgrades. He discontinued the upgrades though, content with level 2. And yeah, both players somewhat slowly ramping up into the late phase of the game, because this was the middle phase, the early phase has begun. The middle phase was more or less a stalemate caused by these lurker swarms, by Brain making sure. Actually, I like that he placed the lurker swarm here all out far in the open, meaning that Mong cannot start a tank push. cannot really set himself up for success, because this is keeping him away. Scorch is once again hunting for vessels all over the map, but also scouting the map. Mong is moving out with SCV, so he can start setting up a contain with turrets here on the sides, which would deny Brain vision with the Overlord, but would also deny him Overlord plays. Oh, that's Valkyrie Micro though! That Valkyrie Micro, I caught it just in the nick of time. That was really sweet stuff. There's a method that if you use patrol attack with Valkyries and then click away, you can have them move away while shooting at the target. And then if you do it really quickly again, you can keep the Valkyries moving and shooting. It's a really, really sweet looking interaction, but it's pretty difficult to do. In the ASL semifinals, Flash actually failed to pull it off against Queen. Yeah, there, no micro there, but a lot of scout. He's actually going to sacrifice them. He isn't planning on using those Valkyries any longer. Just go in to kill a couple of Overlords. Brain, once again, has grown a tiny bit bigger. Got a lot of upgrades on the way, but it looks like he's planning on playing a low economy Zerg here. 54 drones, 68 SCVs. Another lurker swarm coming down here in the front, but there's only 2 lurkers there. And once again, he gets slowed down, but Mong has set himself up for a dangerous, dangerous contain that Brain is not going to break out of anytime soon. Because he's in a really, really bad spot. He's in a really bad spot here. Because he's been kept somewhat small, and he hasn't really grown all that big, all that quick. He's been trying to push out, little bit by little bit, but Mong has been doing a great job at shutting down every single option Brain has. And the amount of pressure Mong has here is really, really big. Right, so he starts moving in. No tanks on the hill, which I kind of like. Valkyries there to shut down Overlords, turrets there to prevent Overlords from spreading out over the map as well. But a lot of Zerglings there on the top side. Vessels going in once again, radiating the Defilers before they can even do anything whatsoever. Even radiating the drones there as well. And he's hovering on top of the drones. If Brain hadn't hotkeyed his drones, he wouldn't have been able to select his drones to burrow them. But luckily, I think he has them hotkeyed, which allows him to burrow his drones. At least that's what I'm assuming. There's a really smart little detail there, hovering the vessels right on top of the drone itself so you cannot select them all that well. Like you have to use box select, but if there's burrow drones under the box select, you would be selecting the burrow drones as well. So yeah, once again, Lurker Swarm is keeping Mong at bay, but he's made some progress from here all the way into the base itself. And that's some small progress he's been making. Tank's going to be setting up here on the side there as well, just to ensure this contain is secured. Brain is trying, but he's not really getting any options. Mong has been shutting him down from every single side with, I want to say, a slow, methodical approach, but he's actually been doing this rather quick. He's actually done this rather quick. So yeah, everything here has been shut down so far. More Defilers out for Brain. 62 drones this time around, so he's actually somewhat in the range of ramping up, but Vulture's coming in with the mines, laying the mines inside the base of Brain. But Brain, of course, has detection with the Overlord, so the mines don't really do all that much, but he does get a couple of Zergling kills, and he gets a Defiler kill as well, so there's no Defiler out at the moment for Brain, but he did get an additional Lurker Swarm off here on top of the Lurker, but there's only a single Lurker there under the Swarm, which means that actually Mong can just move in and ignore this completely, unless these Lurkers here move under the Dark Swarm. So yeah, of course, more Defilers on the way here for Brain because he needs a Defiler, but he's only making a single Defiler at the same time. Mutal is also on the way now, so he might decide to add in Guardians into the mix, but Mong has already set up shop here on the bottom side of Brain's base once again, and he's very slowly going to push forward, and this is what happens when you radiate the Defilers. They die before another Dark Swarm comes up, which means the Lurkers under the Dark Swarm also die to the tanks, which means that tanks can now move forward, which Mong is planning to do. Yeah, he's been dropping Zerglings here on the side, continuously trying to kill those turrets, but there's tanks there as well, which keep repeatedly shutting down those Zerglings. Check Guardians now going in. Radiance comes down on pretty much all of the Guardians. All of the Guardians are going to go down. There's 2 Goliaths in the mix as well. Those Goliaths are going to finish off the Guardians. Now the tanks are rolling in over the right side of Brain's base. Now 2 Vessels going in for the drones or not. No, they're just detecting to make sure. And yeah, pretty much everything gets shut down here. There's a couple of lurkers still there under the Dark Swarm, but there's simply so many tanks that every single Zergling that spawns and tries to get on top of the tanks goes down instantly. Another Radiate there on the Defiler. So he can't use the Defiler. Radiate comes out on the drones there as well, and drones are gonna go down. The drones have gone down, and he's lost pretty much all the drones he had on his minerals. And yeah, Zergling spawning, trying to at least do some damage control, but the damage has already been done. And this is one of the downsides of not playing a macro or high eco Zerg. If your opponent shuts you down, you remain too small. You remain a little bit too small. And Brain tried hard, fought hard, but Mong takes this one home really, really convincingly. I might even argue that at the moment, Mong probably has the best Terran versus Zerg on all the fastest map. And I don't expect anyone to ever challenge him again in a Zerg versus Terran matchup. Because as I said, I honestly really do think he has the best Terran versus Zerg on fastest map. He definitely does. He definitely does. I'm repeating myself over and over, but I'm just really convinced he has the best one. Because this looked really solid. There were no gimmicks. No gimmicks whatsoever. No hill abuse. No gimmicky run-ins with vessels. Just really great control. Really great setups. Very methodical. A little bit slow at times, but very methodical, precise, and almost no mistakes made anywhere whatsoever. And that is one of the biggest takeaways. You can't make a mistake. Now, I do want to stress that if Mong had made mistakes, Brain would have capitalized on them really quickly and probably taken home or at least dealt some damage on Mong. So anyway, that's the game. Only 20 minutes, a little bit of a short video. I hope you enjoyed this one. In the end, it was a little bit more one-sided than I had hoped for, but it was a really well, beautifully executed game by Mong, and he really shows that he is actually one of the top contenders.